Good evening, my friends. It's 10:25 here on July 21st, 2011. K-Cups make recap as well. I want to tell you a little bit about my dad. My dad was one of 11 children. He grew up in North Dakota. My grandfather had a 500-acre farm, and when he didn't want to go to school, he would hide in the farm. And when he was 12, he was driving a made-up school bus. He was driving the kids to school. When he was a young man, he joined the United States Marine Corps and went to fight on Jima. And I never realized the scope of it until after his death. So he never talked about the war. And he was, as I understand it, as I recall it being said to me, my father was one of 5 men out of his company to walk off that island. I don't know exactly how big a company is, but I'm sure it's a lot of men. When he was 28 years old, he married a woman, my mom. And he made a good life for himself. He was a cabbie and he sold vacuum cleaners. And then he found what he could do best, is sell insurance. And my father there was a club that are part of, let's just say my dad was tops in what he did. And as a child, I had the luxury of traveling a lot because of my father's ability to do his job. I could go on for days about things I've seen and experienced because of my father. So, my father and mother had 3 children: Jesse, Robin, and Tim. And then after they came dozens and dozens of foster children. My parents were foster parents. Well, in 1967, after being split from my twin and being left alone in the state of Washington, my father and mother heard about me, a twin left alone, born premature with a disability. So this couple and their children went through rigorous tests and interviews and court to become my parents. Took them 3 years. And around 1970 or so, I became Kyle Joseph Jolibois. I am a Jolibois to the bone. I am my father's son. So, they get this little boy who has cerebral palsy, who needs lots of attention. I have a doting mother who is my biggest advocate, and I love her dearly. Well, my father, being the Marine that he was a little tougher than Mom. He told me no a lot. So what did I do? I went to Mom. You know, good times, good times. But my father instilled stuff in me nonetheless. He taught me to be strong. He taught me to endure. He taught me to take pain and get up and do it again. And I was watching a Marine video today about Jima, and they were talking about how the Japanese took him 5 times off that cliff. And what did they do? They went up a 6th time. That's what my father instilled in me. You fall down, you get up. So, needless to say, my dad and I had some tough times. We did. Most children do with their parents. One time or another. And we had ours. And I grew from that. My parents and I took a trip around the United States for 6 weeks once. We hit 42 states. And that was the best vacation I ever had. So many memories, so many places, so many funny stories. I'll tell you one. We were in Alabama. We were in Mobile, Alabama. I do believe it was Alabama. It was down south. But anyway. I'm 7 years old. I'm 19, what's that? That's 74. I was about 7 years old, yes. And went on our trip. My dad stops off for gas. And while he's getting gas, Mom takes me to the restroom. And we had an old Dodge converted into a van, you know, a sleeper. So my dad gets back, this is early in the morning. My dad gets back into the Dodge and drives off, thinking that Mom and I are in the back sleeping. And my mom comes out and she sees the van going down the road, and she scoops me up. I'm not a big guy as it is, people. When I was 7, I was even smaller. So she scoops me up and starts running down the road after the van. Oh, my dad found out. He was mad at my mom. You should have told me you went to the bathroom, blah, blah. Oh, it was funny. It was hilarious. Good times. Good times. Then when I was 11, so I'm moving. I went to Catholic school all my life. I was very involved in the church. I was an altar boy. My father was in the Knights of Columbus. I was in the Knights of Columbus. And my father was very involved at the school and at the church, and a lot of people know my father. And so I went to Catholic school all my life. So I knew about St. Bernadette of Lourdes. When I was 11, I saw a movie, a black and white one, and I said, I'd like to go to Lourdes to be healed of my disability. And when I was 12, my mom, my dad, myself, and my brother, Jesse, we flew from Seattle to London, then London to Paris, and then drove to Lourdes. And I was bathed in the holy water at the grotto, and I wasn't healed. And I was 12 years old, and I didn't understand why. Well, around age 30, I realized that there was nothing for me to fix. I wasn't broken. It was my insides that was broken. Not my outside. I didn't see myself as whole. But we still went, and we had 2 weeks in Europe. That was wonderful. I fell asleep in the Louvre. I was 12. I got tired of looking at masterpieces. But anyway, my father stood up for what he believed in. He was a man among men. And I know he would be proud of me today for what I'm doing, for what I'm standing up in. And I had the honor of holding his hand when he died. I miss you very much, Dad. And I'm always talking about you. You can't walk into my house without seeing you. So, I love you. Peace, my friends. Good night.